Good morning everyone, it's Alyssa here and welcome to our morning flow. Today I'll be teaching us to do an energizing ladder flow, which means that I'll be guiding you through a flow, and every single time I'm going to teach you a new pose to add on. The intention of the practice is so that you can do this class a few times, learn the flow and do it yourself even without the video. Now today we're going to be doing some heart-opening poses so that you can have an energized start to your day. We'll also be learning some breathing techniques that will give you some mental clarity and energize you, which you can bring into your training as well. So let's get started. So we're going to start off today's practice in a comfortable seated position. You can be kneeling or cross-legged, whatever feels comfortable for yourself. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears and then lengthen your spine by drawing the crown of your head up towards the sky. Take a few rounds of deep breath here just to quieten your mind and to recenter back into your practice. Breathing in as you expand your belly. Long exhale, feel your belly draw back towards your spine. Full breath in, expand the belly. Exhale, feel the belly draw back. One more time, breathe in, expand. Exhale, feel the belly draw back. Now we're going to learn the Oceanic breath. This breathing technique is really good to help energize your body. So I would recommend you to do this throughout the day when you feel tired, throughout today's practice, and when you're training as well. So we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. But as you exhale, I want you to feel the restriction of the air from your throat. This is what it sounds like. We're going to do it step by step first. So we're going to inhale through the nose and we're going to exhale through our mouth as if you're trying to fog up a mirror. So placing your hand in front of you, we're going to inhale through the nose. One more time like that. And then next exhale, I want you to close your mouth halfway through the exhalation. That's how the Oceanic breath should sound like. Let's do that 3 more times. Breathe in through your nose. Long exhale. 2 more. 1 more breath in. Long exhale. Remember this Oceanic breath throughout today's practice. Let's get onto the mat. And I'm going to start off by doing some wrist rolls to begin with. Early in the morning, sometimes our wrists are feeling stiff and it's often an area that we neglect. And then interlace your fingers, roll your wrists, get your body moving. And then press your palms up towards the sky, lean to your right, take a side stretch, back to center, lean to your left. Come back to center and slowly release your hands. Very good. Coming into tabletop position now. We're going to place our hands directly underneath our shoulders and our knees hip distance apart. Remember that whenever we have our palms on the mat, keep our index fingers pointing straight forward. This forces us to rotate our hands outwards and activate our shoulders. Pressing our knuckles down into the mat, we're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow to warm up our spine. So we're going to lift the chest up and tilt our tailbone up. Slowly lift our gaze and drop our belly down at the same time. Take a deep breath in, expand the belly for a full breath in. As you exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin in and bring your gaze to your knees or your navel, so where your belly is. Breathe in again, lift the chest, tilt the tailbone up. Exhale, round the spine, curl the tailbone down towards the back of the knees. Few more like that at your own pace, sink it to your own breath. Remember, using your Oceanic breath. Really puff up your shoulders as you round your spine. Spreading the shoulder blades, pressing your knuckles down into the mat. One last time. Slowly come back to center. Very good. We're going to step our hands 1 step forward, still keeping our index fingers pointing straight forward. We're going to curl our toes, lift our knees up a few inches. From here, we're going to get into our downward facing dog, but I want you to make sure you're doing it correctly. So dropping our head between our arms, making sure that our ears are next to our biceps. When you're keeping the upper body form like this, you're keeping a long straight line from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. You'll feel the stretch in the lat muscles, which is an area that tends to get pretty tight in training. So keeping that form, we're going to slowly lift our hips up. If you can't straighten your legs without compromising the upper body form, then keep your knees slightly bent. That's totally okay. But if your heels can sink down towards the mat, then allow it to sink down, or maybe even paddle out your feet just to warm up your calves and your hamstrings. Feeling a nice little stretch in the back of the legs. Paddle it out, maybe shifting your hips side to side. Find your oceanic breath, pressing your chest back towards your thighs, keeping your ears next to your biceps. And then one step at a time, step all the way to the top of the mat where your hands are and fold forward. From here, we want to come into a forward fold. We want to keep our hips stacked over our heels. Often in a forward fold, a lot of people have the hips shifted backwards. We want to really lean forward slightly, shifting more of our weight to the balls of our feet, almost like you're falling forward slightly. That way you can feel the lengthening of the back of your legs here. Then from here, we're going to bend our knees a little, slowly roll ourselves up to standing. Sweep your arms up high, breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to swan dive down, hinging from the hips, making sure that our hips do not shift backwards. Still keeping our hips stacked over our heels. Hands come onto our shin, chest comes forward for a halfway lift. We're going to lengthen the spine forward, looking down on the floor, roll the shoulder blades back, keeping this long, flat spine from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. As we exhale, we're going to fold forward, lower our hands down onto the mat. Remember, always keeping our index fingers pointing straight forward to activate our shoulders. From here, we're going to step back into high plank. Then we're going to shift our weight forward. If you need to lower onto your knees at any point to modify our practice, you can do so. We're going to hug the elbows in to lower down until our belly touches the mat, nice and slow, working the triceps here. From here, our hands should be next to our chest. We're going to lift our chest up halfway, still hugging the elbows nice and close. Breathe in, shine the chest forward, roll the shoulder blades back. In this pose, every time we open up our heart center, we're reversing the forward leaning postures that we tend to have in training. So a lot of times we're hunching, so we're really reversing the posture here. Exhale, lower back down. We're going to do 2 more times. Breathe in, cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Breathe in, cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Then from here, curl the toes, press through our hands, lift up into downward facing dog, paddle it out. Nice work. It's getting our body moving here. Then we're going to go into that again, but this time we're going to change up one pose. So one step at a time, step all the way to the top where your hands are, fold forward. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart, hips are stacked over your heels, again lengthening the back of your legs. Relax your head, bend your knees slightly, slowly roll yourself up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead, take a deep breath in. As we exhale, swan dive down, keeping your hips stacked over your heels, shifting more of your weight to the balls of your feet. Hands come onto your shin, chest forward for a halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower your hands down, step back into high plank once again. Remember, you can modify whenever you need to. We're gonna hug our elbows in and we're gonna lower down, this time only halfway, and then we're gonna press straight up into upward facing dog instead of cobra. The difference is that our thighs come off the mat in upward facing dog, our arms are straight, and you come into a deeper back bend and it's stronger on your arms. Still shining the chest forward and rolling the shoulder blades back for that little heart opener here. One more breath in. Exhale, we're gonna round the spine and squeeze through the core, and then puff up the shoulders and curl the toes, press back into downward facing dog. Nice work, paddle it out. Now, whenever we flow through, you can choose the option of cobra or upward facing dog. So when I flow one more time, this time you can pick whichever variation you prefer and use that throughout today's practice. So one step at a time, step all the way to the top where your hands are, fold forward. Slowly rolling yourself up to standing, sweep your arms overhead, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, swan dive down, making sure that more of your weight is shifted to the balls of your feet. Halfway lift, inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, lower your hands down, step, hop, or jump back into high plank. Take your variation, shifting your weight forward, hug the elbows in, cobra or upward facing dog. Chest always shining forward, shoulders always rolling back. Breathe in, exhale, round the spine, press back, downward facing dog. Hopefully your body is starting to warm up a little bit by now. Shift your hips side to side, maybe paddle out your feet. Nice work. Now we're going to start adding in poses, and each time we add in one pose, we flow through again. And by the end of today's flow, I really hope that you remember the flow and you'll be able to do it in your own time as well. All right, settle into your downward facing dog. Bring your big toes to touch so that your feet are centered. From here, we're going to press the right heel down towards the mat as much as we can and lift that left leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Try to keep your hips nice and closed here to begin with. You will feel a really nice stretch in the back of your right leg. Then from here, we're going to bend the left knee, then open up the hips, turn the left knee out towards the left side, almost feeling like you're trying to stack that left hip over the right hip. Then we're going to draw 3 big circles with the left knee. Let's go. Nice and controlled. 3, 2, and 1. Bring that left knee in towards the chest. Remember, find your oceanic breath and then step through between your hands. If it's not quite there, use your left hand, grab your left ankle and shuffle it forward. From here, we're going to rise up for crescent lunge. Stand firm on that left leg. Rise up. Arms reaching up high, palms facing in so that your shoulders are rotating outwards and you're spreading your shoulder blades. From here, lower your hands down, frame your front foot, and step back downward facing dog. Very good. Other side now. Press the left heel down, lift that right leg up first, squaring off our hips. Feel that nice stretch, then bend the right knee, open up the hips, draw 3 big circles with the right knee. 3, 2, and 1. Warming up the hips here. Bring that right knee in towards the chest, slowly shift your weight forward and plant that right foot down. If it's not quite there, right hand grabs the right ankle and shuffle it forward. From here, stand firm on the right foot as we rise up. Crescent lunge, palms facing in, rotating the shoulders outwards, spreading the shoulder blades. Frame the front foot, step back downward facing dog. Very good. Step, hop or jump to the top of the mat and fold forward. Hips stacked over the heels, remember. Slowly roll yourself up to standing. Sweep your arms overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, swan dive down, hinging from the hips. Don't allow your hips to shift backwards. Halfway lift, inhale. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower your hands down, step, hop or jump back into high plank. Take your variation, cobra or up dog. Breathe in, shine the chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice work. Whenever you need to come into child's pose, drop onto your knees to take a little break, you can do so. This is your practice, so take it at your own pace. Bringing your big toes together again. Plant that right foot down, left leg lifts up high. You know the drill, bend the knees, open up the hips, draw 3 big circles. 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee in. Slowly step through between your hands. If it's not quite there, remember you can use your hand to assist and just shuffle down a little bit. From here, I'm going to rise up, crescent lunge. Breathe in. As we exhale, we're going to add onto it. Open up for warrior 2. In warrior 2, we really want to rotate our thighs outwards. So you drop your back heel down. Your front heel should be pointing straight to the middle arch of your right foot. Get that alignment right, and then you're going to lean that front knee out towards the pinky toe side instead of allowing it to lean towards the big toe. If it leans towards the big toe, you're internally rotating your thighs. It wants an outward rotation to really find that stretch in the hip area. So keeping the front knee stacked over the heels, arms stretched out here, nice and strong. And then windmill the hands back down, frame the front foot, step back, downward facing dog. Let's do the other side now. Right leg lifts up high. Bend the knee, open up the hips. Draw 3 big circles. 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee in. Slowly step through, plant the right foot. From here, stand firm on the right foot. Rise up, crescent lunge. Open up for warrior 2. Drop the back heel down. Rotate your thighs outwards. Very good, nice and strong. Windmill the hands back down. Frame the front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Then take heel variation, step, hop or jump to the top of the mat and come to a forward fold. Remember, keeping our feet hip distance apart. Slowly roll ourselves up to standing. Sweep the arms overhead, take a deep breath in. Expand the belly, exhale, fold forward, hinge from the hips, find your oceanic breath. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, lower your hands down. Step, hop or jump back into high plank. Remember, whenever you need to lower onto your knees, you can do so. Shift your weight forward. We're going to hug the elbows in. Take cobra or up dog. Up to you. Shine your chest forward. Shoulder blades roll back. Breathing in. Exhale, round the spine. Lift through the core. Press back into downward facing dog. Chest press back towards your thighs. And making sure that your forearms are still activated. You're not just keeping it nice and relaxed. Everything should be activated in downward facing dog. Bring your big toes to touch again. Plant that right foot down as we lift the left leg up. Take your hip circles again. 3, 2, One, we're going to slowly add on, bring that knee in, plant that left foot down. Stand firm in that left foot, ready for our high lunge. From here, sweep the arms up, palms facing in, rotate the shoulders out, spread the shoulder blades. Open up for warrior two. Remember, left knee shifting out towards the left pinky toe. Flip the left palm over. I'm going to reverse the warrior. But a lot of times when we reverse the warrior, a lot of people start to shift their weight back. I want you to keep the knee stacked over the heel and only the upper body starts to reverse. And as we do that, you feel the lengthening of the left side of the body from your lower back all the way up towards the lat muscles, and really feeling the lengthening all through towards the fingertips. Your lats tend to get pretty tight from training, so should be a very good stretch. You might want to shine your chest up towards the ceiling a little bit as well to deepen that stretch. From here, we're going to frame the front foot, windmill back down, step back downward facing dog. Let's do the other side. Right leg lifts up high, 3 hip circles. 2, 1, slowly bring the knee in, plant the right foot down. Stand firm on that right foot, rise up, breathe in. Remember keeping the front knee stacked over the heels, open up for warrior two, rotate the thighs outwards. Flip the right palm over, reverse the warrior without shifting the lower body, spin the chest up slightly, feel the stretch from the lower back up towards the lat area, windmill the hands back down, frame the front foot, and step back downward facing dog. Nice work. From here, take your variation, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat, and fold forward. Slowly roll yourself up to standing, sweep your arms overhead, take a deep breath in, find your oceanic breath. Exhale, fold forward all the way, halfway lift, inhale, chest forward, shoulder blades roll back. Exhale, lower your hands down, and step back, or hop back into high plank, and flow through. Everyone meets in downward facing dog. Take your variation of the flow. You should be quite familiar with it by now. If not, continue to follow and do this a few more times. And paddle out your feet. Nice work. All right, now we're going to start adding in a little bit more difficult poses, but I'll give you modifications, so stay with me. Plant that right foot down, left leg lifts up high. 3-legged dog, bend the knee, open up the hips. 3 hip circles, 3, 2, 1, bring that knee in, step through between your hands. Rise up for crescent lunge. As we continue to repeat, you should get more and more familiar, and you should start to build these healthy habits and make it a routine that you do every day. Reverse the warrior, and then slowly come back. And from here, I want to straighten out that front leg. Turn the left foot to face the right side, so you come to standing wide A. From here, we want to bring our heels in 2 inches so that our knees are pointing outwards. Bend our knees, come down into horse pose. We want to bring our palms down into the inner thighs so that we can really open up the hips here. Then we're going to turn to the left, face the left, press the right shoulder forward. Feel a nice little stretch in that shoulder. At the same time, your right palm should be pressing against that right inner thigh to open up the hips here. So you feel a nice hip opener and a nice shoulder stretch. And then we're going to come to the other side, turn to the right, press the left shoulder down, using your left palm to open up the hips here. Again, other side. We'll do one last one on the left. And then slowly come back up, straighten out your legs, windmill the hands back to the top of the mat, step back downward facing dog. Let's do the other side now. Right leg lifts up high, 3 hip circles, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knee in, step through between the hands. Stand firm on that right foot, rise up. Palms facing in. Open up for warrior two, drop the back heel down, rotate the thighs outwards, pressing that right knee towards the right pinky toe. Flip the right palm over, reverse the warrior, keeping the lower body still, just moving the upper body, spin the chest up slightly. Slowly come back to warrior two. We're going to straighten out the right leg, turn the right foot to face the left here. And from here, we're going to bring the heels in for horse pose. Bend the knees, bring your palms down, using your palms to press against your thighs. We're going to look to the left, press the right shoulder forward. You should know the drill by now. Out the side. And then one more set. And other side. Slowly come back up, straighten out your legs, windmill your hands back to the top of the mat, and step back for downward facing dog. Very nice. So we're going to add in a bonus pose to finish off our flow. So we're going to start off by planting the right foot down first. Left leg lifts up high. Bend the left knee, tuck the knee in towards the chest. And then we're going to shift that left knee over to the right elbow, working the obliques, and kick the leg out to the right side. In this pose, we're going to work our way up towards fallen triangle. You should feel a really nice stretch in the glute area on the left side, all the way maybe even down towards the IT bands, which tends to get pretty tight for athletes and martial artists, depending on what you do for training. If you do a lot of running, cycling, or a lot of kicks, this tends to get pretty tight. So lowering the hips down a little bit, feel a nice little stretch here. Maybe not a little stretch, maybe really intense stretch. Or you can come into a hip and heart opener instead. You can drop the back heel down towards the left side. Right arm reaches up, lift the hips up. Open up the right side of the body here. Feel the lengthening. Slowly lower the right hand back down. Lower your hips down again for that nice little stretch. And then left leg steps back. That's quite strong on our upper body as well. All right, let's do the other side to finish off. Right leg lifts up high, bring that right knee in towards the chest for tiger curl. Squeeze the knee up. Bring that right knee to the left elbow, kick the leg out to the left side. From here, lower the hips down a bit. Feel that nice stretch in the hip, maybe all the way down towards the IT bands. Feel the stretch. Take the variation if you want for fallen triangle. Drop the back heel down to the right side. Press through the right hand, left arm reaches up. Lift the hips up, lengthen. Feel that lengthening on the left side of the body. Slowly lower that left hand back down. Step back, downward facing dog, paddle it out. One step at a time, step all the way to the top of the mat and fold forward. Roll yourself up to standing, sweep your arms overhead, take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold forward all the way. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, lower your hands down, step back for high plank, final flow here. Take your variation, hug the elbows in, lower down halfway or all the way, cobra or upward facing dog. Really choosing what's best for yourself. Every day might be different. Exhale, round the spine, downward facing dog. Lower onto your knees. I'm gonna finish with a little back bend, which really energizes our body to start your day. So we're gonna come into camel pose. I like to curl my toes for a little bit of support. If you wanna uncurl your toes, that's okay as well. So kneeling, keeping our hips stacked over our knees. That's alignment you want to keep, okay? So we're gonna sweep the arms up and back. Bring the palms against our hips, pressing our hips forward. Make sure your hips are not leaning back because that defeats the purpose. We want to open up the hip area and as well as our heart center. So really having this upward lifting motion with our heart center. From here, hug the elbows in behind us, roll the shoulder blades back, lift the heart center. And if you can grab onto your heels, you can grab onto your heels. Whatever variation you want to take, but making sure that your hips are stacked over your knees the whole time and you have an upward lifting motion with your chest. This really opens up the heart center. 2 more rounds of breath here. Slowly bring your hands back to your hips. If they're on your ankles, and slowly coming back up. Sweep your arms overhead, take a deep breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Hopefully you enjoyed today's practice, and remember that discipline is about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Enjoy the rest of your day.